So I was watching Tiger King, and who hasn't watched Tiger King yet? And it's really interesting to see the animals in their quote unquote natural habitats and the people that were assigned to take care of them. And they weren't just taking care of them like regular animals, they were taking care of them like they were their pets. But after the first episode, you tend to see that the animals weren't taken care of in the way that they should have. And it was interesting because at the very end of the series, the one of the main characters, Joe Exotic, talks to us about these two chimpanzees. And the two chimpanzees have been kept apart for up to 10 years. So, after Joe Exotic goes to prison, he's talking about how once they were relocated, the first thing that the chimpanzees did was hug and hug and hug. And it brings up to light a lot of issues nowadays about animal rights. So I was just thinking, what if the animals just had enough and decided to speak up about it? What if? Okay, just okay. Notes here and all right. I'm recording. Hi. Um, my name's Carl, and um, okay. No, that's done. That's done. Hey, my name's Carl. No. Um, I'm gonna try something. Try something. All right. Hi. I like that. I like that. All right. Hi. My name's Carl, and this is kind of a big deal for me. It's my first ever real radio show hosting, and I'm pretty excited about it. After months and months of being an intern, they finally gave me a little shot, and I think I'm gonna be really happy here doing this. They gave me my first assignment here, which is the annual Animal Rights Summit. Yes, and pretty excited. We get to finally see the two sides, the libertarian. I'm sorry. Ooh. Let me relax. Let me relax. First day jitters. Um, with the libertarians and the advocates, and I think I'm gonna call them neos because they want new change for the animals. And years they've been fighting because the libertarians, they want animal rights, but they want the rights to do things to the animals. So they're seen as property for a lot of them. And the advocates are there for complete and utter animal rights. So they can't vote or anything. They're not humans, but they are allowed to have certain rights for reproduction or living space, which is great. So I'm here to watch and to see what's happening. And it's weird because they also have animals around in cages. Like they have a tiger that's just walking around this little itty bitty cage, and they have gorillas, and they all seem pretty sad actually. Because listeners, there's some sort of ethical treatment of just life in general. Just imagine yourself being locked in a cage, but people are praising you, and it's kind of a weird feeling. Have you ever felt like you were in a room and they were talking about you? An anxiety of them speaking yourself into existence, but there's no way that you can possibly comprehend what they're talking about. You just hear whispers, and in the back of your mind you start getting nervous and sweaty because, well, no one likes to be talked about. So it's almost kind of like this emotional connection that I have with these animals. But anyway, I digress. So I'm here at the summit, and it's pretty cool. We see a lot of good big faces here. I think I just saw Barack Obama, but I don't know yet. I'll probably see if I can sneak in and get a quick little one-on-one talk session with him. But just trying to be optimistic. Listeners, so they're just starting, and it seems like they're bringing up the tiger. I don't know what they're gonna do, but Tigger doesn't look so happy about it. I'll try and see if I can get a little bit closer. Excuse me. Okay. Alright. Listeners, I am at the front, and don't worry, everything that they say, I'm going to reiterate to you. So it seems like the two heads of the parties are up. I think they're about to sign some treaty or something like that. And the tiger's in the middle. And the tiger looks pissed. Can I say pissed? He looks upset. Alright, it looks like they're starting. The libertarian guy is pretty big. Looks like the fat cat guy that everybody thinks that the government looks like. And he has a top hat on for some reason. And he's talking about how animals should be treated a certain way, but they don't need to be completely free, which I have no idea what that means. But I think what he's trying to say is that animals don't have to have the rights that allow them to live correctly or safely, which I believe is terrible. But, I'm not up there. He might have made better decisions than I have. He might have killed some animals. But I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. Roughly. Looks like the other guy, the advocate, or the Neo, as I called him before, he has like shades on inside, so I already know he's gonna be an a-hole for no reason. And he's talking about how animals should live freely and we shouldn't have to use them for our gain without even asking them, which kind of makes sense, because if you were an animal and someone just came and said, hey, I want you to do this or that, and you have no say in it. I can't tell a baby to mow the lawn because it's a baby. It has no say in anything. It just follows along with whatever everybody else does with it. So are we to say that they're all babies, animals, or are we trying to give them human rights? And now they're going back and forth for no reason at all. It's kind of getting heated, and it's pretty fun actually. I like just talking about this. All the people around me with their fancy get-ups and wool and satin clothing came from nature, and everybody's here. I feel like they don't get the argument, because everybody wants to be treated fairly. But when it comes to something else outside of yourself, outside of humanity, it almost feels like there's no real way to connect to that being. Okay, now they're throwing glasses, so it's getting pretty heated. As you can see, the argument isn't just an argument. I think for years people have been arguing over this fact that are animals sentient? Are animals able to have rights? Are we giving them too much power? If we have rights, will we be able to live the way that we do if we make these through laws? Because countries have already been making laws about this. And I don't know. Oh, listen here. Everybody in the crowd just seems to enjoy this violence, this anarchy, and it just seems like, I don't know, who are really the animals here? The ones that are in the cage or the ones that are out of it? Because I see people jumping up on the tables, they're throwing their drinks in the air and ripping clothes off. They seem more animalistic than the actual animals who are just sitting in their cages all sad. I don't know. Oh, listeners, get this. So, apparently, now they're stopped fighting, and if I can get a little bit closer, it seems like they're cleaning themselves off and they're whispering to themselves. I don't know, they're saying like great job or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I guess they're gonna sign this treaty or something like that. And listeners, the tiger somehow got out of her cage. And now she's looking at both of those guys up there. And luckily, she's just walking calmly past them. Everybody's backing up, not moving too fast. Because I, for one, am not in the mood today to fight a tiger. So, it's weird. She's just looking at everybody. And I can see a pain in her eyes. I don't know, listeners, it's weird. It's like I can feel what she's feeling. Because usually if an animal's been trapped in a cage, it goes wild. It's finally free to do whatever it wants to do. Especially this almost 1,500-pound big cat. But no, she's just calmly looking at everyone. But everybody's looking at the tiger like it's a nuclear bomb. I don't know why. It's not doing anything. And surprisingly, no one's doing anything about it. But, I don't know, it's kind of beautiful. And it's, listeners, the tiger is coming down to meet us. I don't know what, I'm backing up. But, as it's coming down, it's just looking at everybody still. Now listeners just sat down in the middle of the room, and it's, what is it? It's talking. Listeners, I cannot make this up. It is speaking to us. Hold on, let me see if I can record what it's saying. You humans and your pride. Your greed blinds you. We, who hear Mother Nature, have come to relay her message. You have no right in her kingdom. You have overstepped your boundaries and claims on a field that you had no right in taking. Your insolence has wounded my brethren, and that will not go unpunished. You speak of rights, but for what? What have you done to uphold it? By imprisonment and torture? Isolation is the worst form of punishment, and death is too kind for you. Suffer as I have suffered. Listeners, the animals have... I can't even explain it. It's all of the animals have broken out of their cage. It's like something snapped in them. It's like a hive mind. The gorillas are busting tables and throwing things at Mach speed. Everything is just going to... it's terrible. It's terrible. I'll get back to you, but for right now, just, I don't know, listen to something. Just listen to this. What is a soul? Just think about it. What is a soul? Is it something that everyone has? Or is it something everything has? There's a lot of debate on that, right? What gives the personality of a soul? Is it just because I can move around and I have free will? Or is it something that was given to me? Let's take, for instance, a baby. Does a baby have a soul because it can move around, it has its own free will? Or do we allow that baby to have a soul because the two creatures that created that baby had a soul? Is it because it can talk? Babies can't talk. They can make sounds. Animals can make sounds. So, the argument lies. Why do we treat a little baby better than any animal in existence? They can't talk, so why don't we treat them like babies? Give them the basic rights that we give a baby. We don't keep babies in cages because they can't communicate with us. No, we take care of it. We raise it. Now, I'm not saying that the baby is going to become an animal or an animal can become a baby, no. But it's the fact that we give that baby rights right out of the room. So why can't we give those rights to animals? Animals can't vote. We're not going to make a camel vote on the next president, even though it might have better thoughts on who can be the best president. But I digress. Now, back to the show. Okay. Oh, what day is it? Day 43, I think. I don't even know anymore. The animals have taken over, to put it in a good way. They've ransacked cities. They've overtaken countries. I don't even know how they've beaten our military, but we're not in control anymore. Now they're arguing over human rights. And is it a lot? Is it too much? Do you have to earn human rights? And for people like me, who wanted to give more rights to animals, the government never listened to us. It's funny, actually. It's really hilarious that we as human beings now have to fight for our own rights. And whether we had to do it in the past, now we have to justify why we as humans, who've gotten this far because of how we've thought and how we've worked together, have to justify the exact same things to a whole nother species. And we can't give the excuse that there's a language barrier or a communication barrier. No, because now they speak the same language as us. It's ironic now that the same rules that we apply to them, they're using the exact same things on us. And we can't tell them right from wrong, because now everyone knows the exact same policies and issues. I wonder what happens now. Listeners, it's getting dark. Militia of animal groups are roaming the streets. People are in cages getting fed the exact same things that we fed those animals. We're getting treated like we're getting treated like animals. And it brings to light how we did everything to ourselves. I wonder what else we've brought upon ourselves, like pollution or inequality, food, and the lack of, for most people, basic human rights for our own people. Now it doesn't matter if you were rich or poor, black or white. Everybody's on the same level now, and we're just trying to fight to get better. I wonder what would happen if we just listened and everybody and everything had basic rights. What if?